Hello, artists. Today we're going to talk about observational drawing. That means drawing what you see. So I'm going to give you some techniques that should make that easier to draw objects that may be three-dimensional, such as these, or a picture from a magazine or a photograph. Basically what we want to do is we want to closely observe what we're drawing, which means spend some time looking at our object. If we take this object, for example, we just want to spend some time looking at it. Then we want to make some observations about it. What are some things we notice? What are some things like shapes that we recognize on it? Well, we can recognize that there are two circle shapes here. There's a line that goes across him, that's his belt. It starts up higher on one side and goes down lower on the other side. We can observe the basic shape of this object. It's kind of rectangular. So once we make those observations and we can recognize shapes that we know how to draw, it makes it a little bit easier. All right, so let's begin by, I think I'll draw the shell today. So another thing we do after we just spend time observing the object and the shape, we want to start by drawing just the outside, or what we call the contour edges, just that outside shape. So what I like to do is, as I draw with my pencil on the paper, I'm going to use a drawing stick today. As I draw and my pencil moves on the paper, my eye slowly outlines the shape that I'm drawing, the object that I'm drawing. So my eye moves as my pencil or pen, whatever I'm using, moves. And I see that some of these lines are bumpy. So as I continue to draw, I really don't spend a whole lot of time actually looking at my paper. Most of what I'm doing is looking at the shell. Now I'm down here, I'm drawing this part right here. So I'm going to move my hand over here. I spend probably 90% of the time actually looking at the shell, not looking at my paper. Because again, my eye is slowly moving along the edge of the shell as my pencil or marker draws that outside contour edge. Now I'm coming around here and I'm noticing that this shape curves up. There's a little point right there. And then it comes out and it makes this fun curve in like this, and then it connects with that top line. So I just drew the outside shape or the contour of my shell. Now I can look on the inside of my shell and draw marks that might represent these textures or these swirly lines. Sometimes shells even have darker spots on them. So now I'm just going to spend some time drawing some lines that will represent these shapes here. And I think I'll start over here. These are just some fun curved lines that they follow the contour of my shell. So I'm going to put some lines in here. I don't have to be exact at this point. I'm not going to count those lines. That would be very difficult. But sometimes if you're drawing something, say you're drawing a half slice of a lemon, you can actually count those wedges in the lemon or the orange. So you can observe that there might be 8 or so slices or wedges of the fruit. I'm going to start up here and draw these bumps. And now this is the great thing about being an artist. You can decide what kind of mark is going to be fun for you to make that might describe that bump shape. I'm going to choose this kind of a swirl pattern. I like that pattern. Now this is where my unique creativity and artistic choices come into play, because I want to have some marks in here that, to me, speak to the shell and to my artistic creativeness. So now I'm just going to finish my shell by drawing some lines that echo what I think are those shapes. Boy, this is going to be fun through here. Now that you have a better understanding of where to start, first observe your object. Look at how the lines move. Do they curve up? Do they curve down? Is one line lower than another line over here? And that will help you to get the perspective or the proportions correct. For example, with the horse, if you were drawing the horse, you could make observations like where this foot comes down. If you drew a line straight up from the foot, see how it touches his nose? So you know now when you draw that foot, it needs to come down by his nose. You can do the same thing with the ears. Where does the top of the ear come? Draw a line straight down. The same thing with his nose here. If you draw a line straight across, see how it's about where his tail begins. So you can make observations like that, artists, that will help you get the correct proportions. You can measure from the back of his foot to the top of his back here and see, is he taller here as he is wide? Well, it looks like he's maybe about the same. There might be about the same distance from here to here as here to here, maybe a little bit bigger this way. So those are just some tips that can help you draw things a little bit more accurately using those simple observation techniques. All right, have fun drawing, artists.